Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this picture of a file and asked how to draw it. It's really pretty easy. The young lady said it doesn't have to be exactly, but just kind of that configuration. I'm going to get rid of my yellow box to start with. I'm going to put in indexing lines. I have them turned off, so I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. I'm going to bring another one in and hit P, so now I'm in the center of the page. I'm going to draw an ellipse, and I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. Now I'm going to draw another ellipse quite smaller, and I'm going to hit P, and then I'm going to grab them both, and I'm going to hit B like bottom. So that's going to give us this kind of this shape. I'm going to work on half of it at a time, so I'm going to draw a straight line holding down the control button. And then I'm going to kind of get this shape right here. So I'm just going to take the 3-point curve line, and start about right there and maybe go to there and then put a little bit of a curve to it. Because what I want is that shape right here. So because I have lines, I'm going to fill the one I'm doing it for using white. Let me change that to fill. Well, it shouldn't. Oh, I just had it set on white. So fill that in and you have that shape. Now we're going to nudge that out of the way and we can get rid of all this. I'm going to actually nudge it up. Move that over and I'm going to left click, right click. And now we have that shape. I can get rid of that line now because we've got a line there. And if you look, we have 1, 2, 3, basically 4 lines besides the center lines. The easiest way for me to do this is to, let me change my nudge factor, not quite so big. Let's make it like 10. Let's make a duplicate of that and move it over. And I'm going to take the shape tool and select both these nodes, and I'm going to right click and break it apart, and then I'm going to delete that line. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I am going to take the shape tool. I'm going to go ahead and delete, break everything apart. And then I can get rid of everything on this side. I can actually get rid of that line. Now, no, you know what? I've already got that. Well, this will work. I need to get rid of this line because I have to break those apart. Take those, right click, break apart, and then I can cut that out. Because what I want to do is well, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this part done. And I'm going to move that over. And because now, if you see there are 2 nodes, I'm going to grab them. And I'm going to add 3 nodes. And then I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to select it. I'm going to add 3 nodes. That kind of gives me I don't know what you would call that, an indexing line. So I'm going to bring in, while this is showing, I'm going to bring in and put, you have to either get really lucky and hit it on the nodes, whoop, or you can hit this with the shape tool and get those nodes, and then you can bring this over. Now, on the other one, I'm going to click on this and see the nodes. So I'm going to take my 3-point curve line, and I'm going to go from, you can still see the node. I'm going to go from that node to that intersection, and I'm just going to angle it up a little bit. Now, we could use the same angle, but she said it doesn't have to be perfect. She just wants that type drawing. So I clicked on it again to get that node, and I'm going to go down to that intersection and kind of give it a curve. Click on that again so you get those nodes. Get the 3-point curve line and go down to that intersection. And we kind of got that turn. Now I really need to kind of put this back, so I'm going to put this back. That's pretty close. But what I want to do now is take another line. And if you, a 2-point line, I didn't have to delete that one. I'm going to get rid of my indexing line so I can see better. I'm going to grab all these lines and I'm going to make them thicker. I'm going to make them like 8 points. I'm going to go ahead and make them all black by right-clicking. I'm going to go to Object and convert the outline to an object. Because now when I fill them in with, I'll fill them in with that light blue, I get the separation of my lines, as you can see. Now I'm going to delete that or move it down in case I need to start over. And then I need to left click, right click, and I'm going to get these half lines. And also these lines are a little bit thicker and they're a little bit wide out. So we're wider at the top. So we're going to do that right now. I'm just going to bring that line down, maybe bring that line up, and maybe take away these two nodes and it make it more even. And you could do this mathematically to get them a little more uniform, but I can see that that one's off quite a bit, so I can move that down. And like she said, it doesn't have to be perfect. She's just trying to get the idea. And I can move that over a little bit, kind of making the lines kind of a little bit bigger at the top. So I'm going to grab that. And if you grab it and put it right back on the line, you'll be way ahead of the game, because that way everything will be equal. And then you grab this. And then we're going to go and we're going to put in these center lines. So what I can do now, and see there's a node between each one of them. I'm just going to use the 2-point line, see the node, and well, you know what? I need to curve it. Whoop. I need to curve it. So I need to take the 3-point curve line. And if we click right on the node, it'll be in the middle. You go about halfway down and move this maybe like that. Node, halfway down, move it, node. See, that way it's in the center. And like I said, if you were doing this for real, you'd take a little bit more time. Now, these are all objects, so I can select just the red and make them that 8 points. Whoop. You know, that doesn't really matter, but if I don't select that one and get just the red, then I can make that 8 points. Go ahead and go and convert those lines to an object. I'm going to go ahead and left click, right click. So now you see what I got. I'm going to go ahead and smart fill this again. I'm going to go ahead and move this down again twice. Move this over. I'm going to go ahead and left click, right click. Now I forgot to put in this arc, but we can always do it. Well, you know, it'd be probably easier to do it right now. So you could do it with an ellipse or a 3-point curve line, and I'm going to go from about right there to right there and just put a little bit of a curve to it. Go ahead and make that line a 8-point line. You got to go to object and convert the outline to an object. And then we can left click, right click. We might be able to weld this at this time. I'm not sure if it'll work. And it didn't work. A lot of times you're gonna see that it just, and we could, you know what we could do? Let's move this line out of the way and let's group this together. Now we can move this back and let's try this, go front minus back. And that's what we wanted. That's perfect. Now I got a little bit of a line there. I need to fix that first. Now, remember we grouped it together, so we got to grab it, go up to object, group and ungroup. And we're going to fix this little thing right here. Just move it to that node and then take it and cut it away. Everything else looks good. Let's go ahead and group it back together, Control G. Control D to make a duplicate while holding down the control button. Move that over. Now we have a little bit of space between these two. So what I'd like to do now is take this and we're going to have to ungroup it for a second. And we're going to take these nodes. I want to get rid of this line. I'm going to do just half the line at a time. I'm going to right click and break it apart. Then I can take the virtual segment delete key and delete that line. I'm going to do this line. Just make sure you get the two reds. Right click, Whoop. So grab them. Whoop, see, I got the other one. Right click, break it apart, take the virtual segment delete key and delete that line. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just do this way. Control G to group, Control D to duplicate, and move it over there. Now I need to put a line between there. The only thing wrong with this, I've got a little bit of a peak there, but that really doesn't matter. And the line in the middle is just kind of arched up. You could do this with a rectangle, but I just find it's easier just do a 2-point line. And you remember, we're still working the center of the page. Not long enough, so I'm going to take my pick tool and elongate it. I'm going to go ahead and delete that part and that part. And I'm going to take this 2-point line and make it into something other than a hairline. 8 points. Go up to Object, convert it to an outline. And now we should be able to basically fill it in. I'm going to go ahead and use that blue. And let's go ahead and fill it in and move it. Whoop. Delete that. So I filled that in. I'm going to nudge it over. Get the Smart Fill again. Nudge it over. And I'm going to go ahead and do the whole thing. You could do what we did before and duplicate it over. But I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now we'll go ahead and move this over and down, move this back. I know this is a little bit confusing, but it'll work. So what I want to do now, we're actually got, if they want white, but they got a black background. And this kind of seems funny to do this, but I'm going to make a boundary around it and click it over. And then I'm going to go to Effects and Contour. I'm going to contour the outside like 1/4 of an inch. I don't like that sharp corner there. Let's go, well, I actually had it on chamfered. Let's go with rounded corners. See, we still got a little bit of a dip in there, but we can fix that. So now go and break the contour apart. You need to select it all. Object, break the contour apart. And I'm just going to use that contour. But I want to get rid of those little bitty dips. So we can take the shape tool. This is a little unorthodox, as it won't be perfect, but this will work. We might have to delete 2 nodes on that one. Just delete nodes. See, those 2 nodes are just like right on top of each other. So there's 2 nodes. And I think that's it. Now we got one more little 2 nodes. Should be one on this side. Nope, I got it. Now it won't really matter if we fill this in, but we need to fix this. Shape tool, move that over. And all you're doing is making those lines touch. And then you can cut it. If I did it, perfect, that's good. Now, we're done. I'm going to go in and put a yellow box. Go up to Object, Order, Back a Page. And I'm going to take my Smart Fill tool, set on black, and I'm going to fill that in. And then to make it look like the picture, they might not want white, but if you'll take and because these lines are objects, they're going to fill in quite good and just go to the edge of the line and voila. Now, the only thing I did wrong, I could have made this line up top a little, let's just do it real quick. Won't take just a second. Get back to where it's just a line. And we could take this line right here, and there's actually a little bit. See, and the Smart Fill tool will fix stuff like that. You won't really see it, but let's go ahead and fix it. Bring it, whoop, I moved it a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Because I want this to be pretty much perfect. Whoop, see it wasn't quite closed. That node wasn't quite on that line. Because now we can take these nodes and bring that out a little bit. one side was separating the other side. See, so I'm giving a little bit of an angle. Let's do a little bit more. So it'll look more like the picture. Now you could add white to this without what I've been doing. Let's just do that. Let's I'll tell you what here, so you could either fill it in. Let's make a duplicate and move that over. Maybe move over twice. And let's do this. Let's take a rectangle and let's fill this in with something other than white. Let's use this blue so you can see it. So now we have that shape. And in just a second, I'm gonna go and fill this in with white. And I'm gonna move it over and up, go up to Object, Order, Back of Page, but now I'm gonna have to put the yellow in the back of the page, go up to Object, Order, Back of Page. And now all I have to do is fill in the black because the white's already there and I didn't have to fill it in. You could fill it in, it might be easier. But that's pretty close. That's pretty close. I truly hope that helped them a little bit. And thank you for watching.